Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have the cosmic cowgirl herself, Patricia Vance Forbes. We're going to talk about her healing gifts, her communications, and learnings from the ETs. I mean, this is going to be one of those episodes where we can go down a lot of rabbit holes here. She's going to be open to your questions tonight on the Skype lines. You can call in on the audio only Skype line. That's OOJBLANDOO. Or you can call on the video Skype line at Soup Live Chat 800 Live Chat. That'll be about the second half of the show. We'll be taking callers, and I'll let you guys know when you can do that. All right, guys. And of course, what we do every Sunday night is the World Wide Web of Weird. We'll have all that for you in just one sec. All right, welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have our guest with us. How you doing tonight, Patricia? You there with us?
I'm doing great. Sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have a really interesting show with you tonight. But what we like to do every Sunday night is the World Wide Web of Weird. Patricia, feel free to join in on if you have anything you want to add to the World Wide Web of articles and videos. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get going with the World Wide Web of Weird. All right, tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, we have Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. We have an attorney here. This is from Coast to Coast AM and originally on the Miami Herald. A lawyer is a tale almost too ironic to be true. Defense attorney in Florida had his pants catch on fire as he was presenting his closing arguments in an arson trial. Moments after he began addressing the jurors, lawyer Stephen Gutierrez suddenly noticed smoke billowing out of his pocket and ran out of the courtroom in fright. Wish there was a video of that. He would later claim after the jury had been removed from the room that his e-cigarette had spontaneously burst into flames, and what just happened to be an incredible coincidence at the moment. The circumstances of the odd instance even more curious because Gutierrez's argument in the trial is that his client did not intentionally set fire to his car and was a victim of spontaneous combustion. To me, I want to hear the case. I want to know that argument. I'm really interested in that. Although one might suspect that the scene was orchestrated by Gutierrez to demonstrate the possibility for such a scenario, the attorney assured the court that he had not planned the fire. Regardless of whether it was a genuine or attempt at a courtroom theatrics, the weird event apparently did not sway the jury, who found his client guilty. I bet some people in that courtroom thought that the client did it. I don't know. It's like, here he is for arson, and then his own lawyer's pants start on fire. And then they say, then again, there may be grounds for an appeal if the jurors render their verdict based on the old adage, liar, liar, pants on fire. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Next up, we got another one that was from Coast to Coast AM, and it's on Unexplained Mysteries website as well. this actually has been all over the place. This was totally viral, but Coast to Coast called it out first, I think, on this being a hoax. This came out like right before last week's World Wide Web of Weird, so that's why I didn't add it. I'm glad I waited. The eerie image of a strange shadow person hovering over a shopping mall in Zambia has been shown to be a hoax. Purported photos of the creepy scene made headlines over the weekend, with observers offering wide range of explanations from supernatural to the skeptical. Fortunately, eagle-eyed researchers have managed to identify the origin of the shadow person, and it appears that the entity in question was merely a kite. Clever hoaxers had taken the image of the admittedly terrifying kite and superposed it over the Zambian shopping mall to create the ominous scene. It subsequently popped up on an obscure Zambian Facebook page in a posting that included the colorful backstory for the incident that became affixed of the image when the story went viral. While it should come as no surprise that the entity is not genuine, it is rather disappointing to learn that it was an outright fake rather than simply a real awesome case of pareidolia. On the bright side, revelations should ease the concerns of anyone who was worried about those traumatized by the Zambian shoppers, since they apparently did not exist either. That's what I thought about. The Zambian shoppers flee in panic. And I'm like, where's that in the video? Yeah. I had a feeling that one was going to come out to be a hoax.
Yeah, me as a kite guy, I knew that was a kite right away. It's a kite called.
That's what I thought. I'm not a kite guy, but I thought it looks like it could be a kite. All right, number 3 is 30 more residents thought to be possessed. We've had so many possessed, like multiple people possessed. A lot of the schools that were possessed, like in I can think of a number of different countries that we've had this in. More than 30 residents thought to be possessed. This is from the Mirror, by the devil after discovering voodoo doll in their village. The community believes the doll with a cross marked across its face is responsible for the sickness, which has led to many believe they are haunted by evil spirits. The community is in crisis after more than 30 of its villagers have been possessed by the devil after discovering the voodoo doll. Residents living in St. Thomas, close to Waspin in the south Nicaragua, are said to be suffering from greasy sickness, I don't know, translating in English as crazy sickness. Crazy sickness is a culture-bound syndrome that most often affects communities in Central America. The contagious syndrome was often exhibits symptoms such as nausea, anxiety, dizziness, irrational anger, and fear, as well as periods of rapid frenzy. People suffering with the crazy sickness or crazy sickness also have visions of spirits and demons, terrifying each time a person is possessed by the name of the next victim of the disease. One woman who lives in the community, known as Maricela, has attempted to help her neighbors by creating homemade remedies to cure the syndrome. She creates medicines which are poured across the back of the affected villager in hope that it will ward off the evil spirits. After investigating the disease further, Maricela says she believes that she has found the cause, a small voodoo doll. Speaking to Central America media, she said, a doll with black ribbon and a cross marked on his face has been found in a street. It suggests that it affected dark spell and bad influences, a type of bad spirit. The villagers have now decided to burn the doll. That's it on that one. I would love to know what happens after you burn the doll. I think that might be a bad idea. I don't know. All right, but they know what they're doing apparently. All right, this next one is, I hit the wrong one. Hold on. Hit the wrong article. Hold on a second. This next one here is another one from the Mirror. This is a mega ship. Oh, wait, no, I did number 4. I forgot. This is number 4. This one's going to have audio. Sorry, Jeff. I told you I hit the wrong article. This next one, I'm going to let you guys watch the video and listen to the audio of it because it's very interesting. And as a guy who is a paranormal investigator, just watch and listen. Now, it might have been a little off time there, and you can find this video on my World Wide Web playlist. Watch the baby. There was something that flew past the screen. The baby falls after it, and they'll play it again. But I want anybody who's interested in this, go find it on the World Wide Web Weird playlist on Paranormal Soup. You can find this video in a number of places, actually. This one came from Coast to Coast AM. You can find it on there. When you watch the video, I don't know if it came across right here, but when you see this thing fly up towards past the camera, it makes a little whoosh sound. Now, I thought maybe it could be a bug.
I was just videoing.
Well, that's the interview with the lady. But what's interesting, here it comes. And it makes like when you watch the video with audio, it makes like a little whoosh sound as it goes past. Now, my general thoughts, it's probably a bug. But what's interesting about it is I've seen evidence from people who get EVPs of these little white little things like that seem to fly near the camera where the EVP is recorded or the recorder. And if that whoosh noise is being made, we've always talked about stochastic resonance. You know, if some orbs are spirits, who's to say they're not?
click sometimes. I've actually noticed sometimes when, people would notice an orb go by, or they think there's like a rock being thrown a wall on just various paranormal shows. All of a sudden I started realizing, no, it's like when the orb hits the wall, it's making like a noise or a little like snap.
Well, that's what I wonder if, they can use those noises or whatever to make those EVPs happen. Like I said, kind of like a stochastic resonance effect or something.
Yeah, like an energy buildup.
I'll tell you a little bit about what the story is of the latest. It's long been suspected that the babies can see spirits and other paranormal phenomena that adults cannot. And a recent video captured by a mother in England has made her a believer. Jessica Lewis was watching the videos that she filmed of her daughter with her cell phone when one particular moment caught her eye. As her daughter Nalia sat on the floor in front of her. Oh, I'm getting some echo from you, Jeff. All right. So as her daughter Nalia sat on the still getting it. Still there? Okay. As her daughter Nalia sat on the floor in front of her, a white orb seems to sweep past the camera and make a swoosh sound. The anomaly appears to catch the attention of Nalia, and the baby crawls towards the direction where it seemed to go. Taken on its own, the video is rather pedestrian compared to more fantastic ghost footage that often makes the rounds, but the circumstances surrounding it are what have piqued the interest of the baby's mother. According to Jessica, ever since the odd video was taken, Nalia has gravitated towards the corner of the room where the orb disappeared that day. And even more remarkable, the mom claims that her daughter waves at the spot as if she's saying hello to someone. That person Jessica suspects is a dear friend who passed away before Nalia was born, and in fact died on the day the video was recorded. Skeptics of the course, they didn't immediately argue that the video and the story are a clever hoax, will likely see the video as simply dust and imagination coming together to weave a heartwarming tale. And I get it. I look at that video from from without the audio, especially, I go dust or bug. But the swoosh sound, I don't know, it could be the bug making that noise. It could be actually something. It's interesting. It reminds me of the rod phenomenon a little bit too.
The fact though that the baby sees it too, and like my cats, I'll see stuff and I won't like purposely look at it because I wonder, like, is anybody else noticing that? Then I'll watch them to see if they're doing it. And that's how it started. I told you when I was 5 and I had, I would kiss all my shadows goodnight.
Yeah.
And then there were the ones that my parents couldn't figure out because there was nothing there. But I said, no, those are my friend's shadows. And I had to kiss them goodnight. So I get that baby sitting in the corner like that.
All right, next up is bizarre mega ship captured by International Space Station camera before NASA dims the feed. We've had a lot of these stories before on the World Wide Web of Weird. Conspiracy theorists are claiming that NASA may have adjusted the image to make a stranger object disappear, according to the Mirror. This is an article by Cara O'Neill. Bizarre mega ship has allegedly been captured by an International Space Station camera before NASA reportedly dims the feed. Conspiracy theorists are claiming that the footage could have been altered by the Independent Space Agency to make the object disappear. In the clip, a long cigar-shaped UFO is seen hovering above the Earth's horizon, with two bright reflective objects sitting just below. In a caption, he writes, "I thought I was seeing things and I had to be quick. The dimming at the end was sudden, and my guess is that NASA turned down the brightness a little." Speaking about the clip, a fellow UFO hunter, Terry Glockner, who runs a conspiracy site, Secure Team 10, said, "We've definitely seen some anomalous objects. We have a very long cigar-shaped UFO. It is unidentified, and we don't know what it is." This is totally accepted to be on Secure Team 10. I've seen a lot of other videos. Then below it, we have these two reflecting looking orbs and objects that are obviously under very low resolution because NASA likes to give us his low-res videos and keeps the high-resolution stuff to themselves. I have monitored hundreds like this and likely thousands of hours of ISIS live feeds footage and seen UFOs, I've seen ice crystals, I've seen space debris, and I've seen light reflections. What we're seeing here looks like none of those, and it would appear that shortly after these objects come into view, NASA either purposely or the UFO does it on their own, but the object quickly dims out. So we may have had NASA dimming the feed, messing with the contrast or exposure to make the objects disappear from view. Or my thought, like his original thought, is maybe the aliens were just disappearing their ship. Like, whoops, we're on International Space Station live feed. Go dim, go dim. I don't know. It's possible. All right, next up we have, this is from earthmysteries.com. This is another UFO. We got twisting cigar-shaped UFO, baffles Brits. This is going to come up here in a second. You're going to see this twisting UFO. We haven't had a good UFO stuff in a while, so it's nice to have a couple UFO videos to show tonight. Hovering, twisting, cigar-shaped UFO baffles Brits. There's nothing like a good UFO video to tingle your senses. Is it real, a hoax, something easy, difficult to explain? The incident includes some information issues, where certain facts, simple things like the actual date and timing of the sighting, appear to be questionable. This is one of those ones where it shows here, and I think it showed this video, something similar popped up somewhere else before. I think this is what this is about. A cigar-shaped unidentified object was seen hovering, rotating, and changing colors above Denton, Manchester in the UK, reports International Business Time. The object was just visible to the naked eye and was in the sky for around 40 minutes before raising so high that it could not be seen at all, wrote an eyewitness, identified only as Amex 2005, who indicated the video was uploaded on July 9th, 2011. UFO means unidentified flying object. So I'm not saying it was a little green man, but still interesting to watch. The cameras show shaky because it was full zoom, and knowing how high it appeared in the sky, I'm guessing its size was massive. So that was the post that originally came up. What they found is that this post was also made like a year or two ago, like with the same video with a different description of where it was taken. And let's see here. So UFO sighting daily account says the UFO was seen in the sky on July 19, 2013. And this same story includes the original eyewitness statement that clearly refers to a huge UFO cigar-shaped metallic object caught on camera in Denton, Manchester in 2011. So which is it? Is it 2011 or is it 2013? Have it both ways with the same story. These videos pop up, and I always say, where's the history, the background? And I swear some of these UFOs get rehashed and with a new Reddit story attached or something like that. So I love that they called it out, like, oh, wow, this happened in 2011. Well, you also posted said it happened in 2013. Maybe it's just some misinformation, or maybe it's a mispost. I don't know, but I think some of these UFOs get rehashed sometimes. All right. So next we got number 7 here. This is demon tree spotted at a cemetery. This was pretty viral too. That's why I ended up on World Wide Web of Weird. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. This article came from The Mirror. This is while taking a walk on a morning after a treacherous thunderstorm, a St. Louis man was stunned to discover a tree burning from the inside out. The remarkable scene captured on film by witness Jim Forbes was made all more eerie due to the setting that it was at. A graveyard. Rather haunting sight of a smoldering tree burst open from the inside, and billowing smoke amidst the lonely tombstone around it led to the video going viral. Experts, of course, say that the weird fire was not, in fact, a portal to the underworld, and that the tree exploded because of moisture contained within it was rapidly heated up by a lightning strike. Scientific explanation has not stopped a few observers from claiming that they can see demonic faces lurking in the flames, which is hopefully more than a product of pareidolia rather than paranormal. For his part, Probst told CNN that the furor over the footage has actually been more shocking than the actual seeing the burning tree in the first place. I thought it's just a pretty cool burning tree, but it does look really wicked. It definitely would lead to a lot of pareidolia. If you look in the flames and the tree, it's like almost molted, like the way that it's burning. It's really cool.
Kind of adds to the creepiness that it's in a graveyard.
Yeah, that it's in a graveyard. All right. So next up, we got one. Just when we thought we were done with the creepy clown stories, we got one more for you. This one's from Coast to Coast. Armed clowns, plural here, terrify kids in PA. After fading from the zeitgeist last fall, a recent incident in Pennsylvania has taken the creepy clown phenomenon to a disturbing new level. Over the weekend, a group of children in the town of West Mifflin reportedly encountered a menacing pair of armed clowns. As they were playing in a wooded area near the homes on the Saturday afternoon, the kids suddenly spotted 2 unsettling harlequins and quickly ran away from the clowns in hot pursuit. While one might dismiss the story as simply a fanciful tale dreamt up by some bored kids, it seems their experience was genuine. One of their parents, who met them when they came running home in hysterics, also witnessed the unnerving strangers. I looked over and they showed me where they were, and here are these 2 guys running up a hillside, Michelle Miswowski told TV station KDKA. According to both Milowski and his son, one of the clowns brandished a pipe while the other was armed with a shotgun. A subsequent visit by police produced no signs of the worrisome gestures, but authorities plan to increase patrols in the area in hopes of catching the clowns. Although the individuals behind the caper may have gotten a thrill from their hijinks, they would be smart to quit while they are ahead, since running around with a shotgun while dressed as a clown can almost certainly not end well for anyone. Clowns are going to get shot, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, somebody's going to put a cap on one of these clowns.
Running at me looking like that with a shotgun.
Remember, I said that last time, and then a clown did get shot, but it wasn't a clown like pranking people. It was actually a real clown, like a real good person being a clown, going to an event, guy shot, but why isn't the jerks like these that are getting, shot? And, if it was one clown, it's just some crazy. But 2 guys get together and it's like, let's dress up as clowns. You take the pipe, I'll take the shotgun. Let's go scare some kids. What only two idiots put that kind of stuff together. All right, we got a couple more here. One more thing here. This actually has two videos. I know everybody's been talking about the WikiLeaks CIA dump of files that they got. WikiLeaks takes on the CIA, so Coast to Coast as well. Latest salvo and unfolding intrigue surrounding global espionage when released by WikiLeaks on Tuesday, the form of a huge cache purportedly from the CIA. The controversial whistleblower website trumpeted the release as the largest publication of confidential documents regarding the notoriously secretive spy agency. Most troubling about these documents is the specifically contained insights to the hacking abilities allegedly possessed by the CIA. According to the files contained in the release, the agency is able to spy on unsuspecting individuals by the way of vast array of everyday devices like smart TVs and cell phones. Are you watching me now, CIA? Because I'm using a cell phone to read this. In total, Tuesday's release numbered 8,000 documents, meaning that it will take some time for experts to parse through the files, which no doubt contain even more worrisome information. For their part, the CIA has not confirmed that the documents are real, but technology experts studying the technique outlined in all the files seem to agree that the methods are sound, suggesting the insight did originate from the spy agency. Much like Edwin Snowden's revelation, the chilling new ways in which they may have eavesdropping on us might not come as no surprise to the conspiracy theorists who have long warned of such dangers. In a greater picture of the world affairs, one can only wonder how the move by WikiLeaks will affect the already adversarial relationship between President Trump and the American intelligence community. So we're going to play, Jeff, you can turn on the audio to this. This is going to be videos of people asking Alexa about the CIA. You might want to, well, you got two videos going, but these videos, these people ask Alexa, what's the CIA and is she connected to it?
I ask mine questions like that too.
I just did this morning.
Oh, really? I wanted to hear the results. I don't know. He might be having trouble getting the audio to play on him.
And I get the same thing where it just and like shuts down, like when it don't want to answer your question.
Did it do that to you, Rob?
No, it told me I do not work for the CIA.
Oh, they upgraded it.
It told me today it works for Amazon, and yes, it's connected to the internet.
Well, you can find these videos on the World Wide Web of Weird playlist. Now, also goes for anybody listening on the DNGN or the Dungeon Radio Network on the regular podcast. You can find any of these videos on the World Wide Web of Weird on that playlist. Oh, I think you got the audio for it.
Lie to you or anyone else.
Alexa, would you lie to me?
I always try to tell the truth. I'm not always right, but I would never intentionally lie to you or anyone else.
Alexa, what is the CIA?
I'm not sure what you meant by that question.
Really? Alexa, what is the CIA?
The United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA.
Are you connected to the CIA?
I wasn't able to understand the question I heard.
Sure,
Okay.
you're not
Alexa,
understanding that, huh?
are you connected to the CIA? Wait a minute. You're supposed to answer that question.
I'm just shutting down now.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Please try in a little while.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Please try in a little while.
Curious.
She did say she won't lie.
Yeah, she said she won't lie. All right, that's enough for the World Wide Web of Weird. You can end those, Jeff. If you got Alexa, I want to hear people what you're trying, because we got Rob said it worked for Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to hear what everybody's. I think they've updated it now, because I think now that's what I'm hearing a lot of people saying it's saying now. So you wonder if they went and updated it so it'll make the right answer
nightly, like by Wi-Fi. It just constantly makes itself smarter. And you think that mute button you push, is like really muting anything? No,
Nope.
It's to make us feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it just turns the light off. Yeah.
Everybody, your tinfoil hats on. No. Alexa's listening. All right. thank you for joining us tonight, Patricia. It's great to have you on. I want you to go ahead, in your own words, tell a little bit of the audience about yourself and your background.
Oh, that's a interesting
Long one.
start here. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you, and I know we got a lot of rabbit holes to go down tonight.
Only however many you want. I can just give you some. I'll touch on some stuff, and then we can decide what to go down.
All right, awesome.
Okay. I was born and raised in the San Luis Valley of Colorado on a cattle ranch, which probably helped come up with the name being called a cosmic cowgirl. And there's a whole story
I
behind
love that.
Yeah. But after I got my kids well, first of all, when I was younger, I worked with animals a lot, not even realizing I knew how to do what I did. I just thought, I'm just helping out with what I know how to do as a kid. And then you kind of turn all that stuff off whenever you go to school because you don't want to be too different.
Right.
And then after my kids got older, I always had this background wondering of why don't we grow back our body parts when something happens? Why do we still have scars? Why don't we completely heal like we should? Well, that led me to taking a lot of classes. Of course, I started with Reiki because that's where most people start. And it led me into a lot of the consciousness technologies. They seem to be closer to being able to work in this other level. So I've taken the emotion code and got certified in that one. That helps a lot with, I think, people coming into being able to heal better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took matrix energetics and that all the levels of that several times. And I love it because it's so fun just to go listen to Dr. Bartlett up on stage. But it really did help me come to a level of understanding the unlimited possibilities of everything that we do and how we just have to walk in faith and truth and trust. And things can happen that you don't expect to happen. Then I just got this weird email one day from a guy from Australia inviting me to a class in Phoenix, Arizona. He had been to Thailand and learned how to study. Well, in Thailand, he studied what the Russian spiritual scientists were teaching. And then he came to this one place in the States to teach it. And it's called regeneration. And I called it cell organ regeneration when he told me I had to teach it. There was a time when the United States would not let him back in. And so he just contacted me and says, okay, Pat, you've got to teach this. So I did for a few years. And I'm thinking it's about time to do it again. There's becoming a lot more awakening and interest in this level of healing. And within that, combined with matrix energetics and just the ET training I've had, the star being training that I've had, I just find that it works very well.
Now, the star being, this is something that, this is supposed to be training or learning that's come from an extraterrestrial source, correct?
Right. In fact, not too long ago, well, I've had memories for many years of being on ships, being taught by different ETs, being taught. One of them I remember looking like the mantis beings.
Oh, wow.
And just
those are the scariest ones, in my opinion, of all the descriptions of beings. The mantis ones seem the scariest, more than the reptilian descriptions people have. The mantis ones just seem the scariest. That was the one that would scare me. So what was your experience? Yeah.
What I remember is sitting at a desk and them having all these arms holding and pointing to charts and demonstrating different things. But that could be an implanted memory too. So I don't know, just so I wouldn't be afraid.
Right.
So I really don't know, but I woke up the other morning, probably about 3 weeks ago. I wasn't quite awake, and I remembered I was 4 years old and talking to the ETs then, and I asked them, why did this start when I was 4? And they said it was the best time to start me learning about the interdimensional work.
Before you go to school and have society tell you that none of those things exist.
Right. Right.
You know, it's a perfect time
However,
for
on
a
a
kid.
cattle ranch, we all knew that this stuff existed.
So you had a pretty open family about this when you were growing up on the ranch?
I did. There were sightings, but we never followed them or did anything with them. We just knew that they were there.
Right.
There was one time we saw one land in a field behind some willows,
Oh, wow.
probably about 1/8 of a mile from us. And my brother and I wanted to take off and check it out. And my mom grabbed us and said no.
Yeah, that's what I would do as a parent too.
So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of things happened. And growing up, there were the two-headed calves because of the stuff from testing from from Los Alamos would go up into the valley.
Right. The nuclear testing?
Yeah. And
Yes.
so we ended up with like two-headed calves. And,
Oh, wow.
of course, they didn't survive.
Yeah.
But my dad didn't talk about it a whole lot. But I knew that it wasn't okay. There was something really wrong.
If they're getting irradiated, you're getting irradiated.
Right.
That's what I think, when you say that. Yeah.
So anyway, I grew up down there, and I never thought anything bad about it until later I did start having different memories. And I've had some hypnotherapy on it to try to figure some of it out. For a long time, I thought I was a walk-in or something. I didn't know. But I got this ET connection, and I don't know what's going on here. I want some information.
Well, I'm interested. How old were you when you started to have like the memories start to come back to you?
Oh, I'd have flashes off and on a lot.
Right. And it would just be not a dream from dreams, but like a daydream or something that would just hit you in the middle of the day kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Or if something would happen to one of my kids, and then I would think, okay, what do I do about this? How do I help with this? And I would just see what to do.
Your kids were having memories?
What's that?
Did you say your kids were having memories?
No.
Oh, I thought, okay. So I misheard that. Sorry.
Whenever something would happen to them, then I would have sometimes of flashes or memories.
Gotcha.
Of things going on. I don't know what all went on with them. After they grew up, they said, "Mom, does that old grandma lady still live downstairs? And that little girl walk through the house in the white nightgown once in a while?"
No.
So we have ghosts in our house too.
So we got ghost on top of it. That's your perfect guest for Paranormal Soup.
I didn't know they saw these things. I thought I kept them hidden from them, but I guess I didn't.
Maybe they're seeing it because they got a little bit of what you have in them, or a lot of it that opens them up.
Right. My daughter went through a divorce a couple of years ago, and she needed to move back into that house with her kids. And she says, "I can't move back there until you make them go away."
Wow.
So I had to make the lady and the little girl go away.
Oh, wow. We could have a whole show and talk about ghosts, but we're going to get back to the ETs.
Yeah, ETs are more fun.
Well, I don't know. I love both. I love all of it, but I don't get a lot of opportunities with people when it comes to the subject of ETs on the show. So that's definitely where to go. So, the memories that have come back to you, can you, you talked about, now I'm interested, you said the mantis one, were you seeing it as were you the mantis alien? Because you said you saw a bunch of arms.
Oh, I was sitting at a desk.
You were sitting at a desk?
And with a schoolroom desk with other kids.
Oh, okay.
And it would be up at the front teaching.
Oh, all right. Now I get it. Okay. Now I understand. I saw you said the arms and stuff. So it was teaching you in a class from other kids. Did you ever recognize any of the other kids?
I haven't tried.
Okay.
But I did find something very interesting.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, our science teacher was able to get the school and Los Alamos to let us go down there for a tour.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to sit in a auditorium and have a lecture by one of the scientists, besides touring the place.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I thought that's pretty strange for them to allow a school bus of kids to even come in there.
What year? I mean, I don't know how old you are. How old were you and what year was that?
It was in the late 60s.
Okay.
So I think I was a sophomore or junior.
Okay.
So we were allowed to do this. It was our chemistry teacher was able to get us in there for some reason. But most people don't believe that that's even possible, but it happened.
That is weird. I mean, was one of the most secure facilities in that time period.
Right.
You would think they would just let's have a school tour. Come here.
Exactly.
Wear these badges. If they turn black, you're in trouble. No.
Well, I always wondered if we got tagged somehow with that.
Right. Well, that's a good question. Now, you've said you've done a little bit of hypnotherapy to regress you back to like your childhood memories and what's happened. Tell us a little more about that.
No, I didn't through my childhood memories. I went through wondering what my connection was with the ET world.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I could tell, I've had a lot of lifetimes being one of the people that would go out and check on planets to see when they were ready to have information. I remember having my own ship that would land on different planets. One of them I did see as being Earth, and I was wearing an outfit that had all different types of pockets and gadgets on it to take samples, soil and air samples. Then I would go back into the ship and then go back up to a bigger ship and go back to some other planetary system and then run tests on all these.
So this was past life regression you did when you were doing the hypnotherapy. That's awesome. We had a guest on a few weeks ago, John Pickstock on past life regression. And I love that you're talking about this because one of the questions we had for him is, and he doesn't do hypnotherapy, he does it as a guided meditation. But one of the questions I had from him is like, have you talks about taking people back past life. I'm like, have you ever taken anybody back and they lived on another planet and, lived a past life? He goes, no, I haven't had that. I've heard of it, but I haven't had that. But I'm like, I know I've heard stories of it and I found it really interesting. So you were able to go back and see yourself as another being on a spaceship.
Well, I don't remember how she got me there, but it was like, take me to an interesting time in one of my lives where I need some information from. And that's where I went.
That seems like that's pretty incredible place to go. That's pretty interesting. My geek side's like, what was the ship like? What did the control panels look like? Because I'm like a geek like that.
I just remember what the lab looked like and messing with the lab tools.
Really? Now, did you appear human?
Yes.
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 Were you able to were you seeing it through your eyes, or were you kind of seeing it as like a third person perspective?
It would be like I was outside watching.
That's what I've heard that a lot too about the experience of being regressed like that. So
right.
But you looked human.
Upright, 2 arms, 2 legs, head, wearing a very protective uniform.
Did you have hair and stuff like a human, or was it?
I don't remember. It had a helmet on.
Oh, helmet on. Well, that would hinder. And so you remember going to these different planets and taking samples like you were a scientist. Basically, right. That's what it sounds like.
Right. And then let him know whenever different planetary systems were ready to start the inhabitation process.
Wow. And so this is just one, and this is just one of the memories that they got shared like this that had to do with ETs.
Right.
Wow.
There's more, but I can't tell you just yet.
Okay. Nope. You lead us.
Yeah, because if family listens, they're not quite ready to hear some of this stuff yet.
Okay. I gotcha.
But through them and my work, and now I do have ETs show up in my office when I work with people.
Really?
Yes. It's like my room just opens up into a portal, and they're here helping me and sometimes guiding me. Other people that are healers, they have different guides that come in.
Yeah, definitely.
I ask my guides and teams to come in that are related to what this person needs help with. And that's usually it's not like I only have one team. They're the ones that this client needs help with.
Gotcha.
And if they're here in my room, then they show up here to work. And if they're on the phone, there are some that show up with me to work and some that show up with the client to work.
Okay. It's like some of their guides coming with them to help, right?
Yes, and I do ask for their guides to come in also. And I
Yeah,
ask
so-
for everyone to be of benevolent, higher purpose of truth, love, and gratitude so that we're all on the same page. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Okay. And what I didn't say, though, was that a lot of my work tends to be related to shamanic work and journeys from Earth combined with the shamanic realm of the star beings. It's like I get the information and I take people, like I get the information and then I can tell them what I'm seeing and hearing to
Gotcha.
help them understand what's going on with them. And it helps them in their relaxed state clear some of the trauma. Because I think a lot of the trauma we're dealing with right now is from things that happened before, sometimes even ancestors.
But
Not just
past lives, though, you're talking something that happened in their past life.
sometimes it's an
Right.
ancestor. Like dead people that show up once in a while too.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Right.
say, yeah, this happened in, out in Ireland or Germany or something. And I'll describe them to the person and they say, oh yeah, that's, grandma or grandpa, and they get it. But then I also, from hearing what the ancestor tells me, or the ET, whether they're ET or ancestor from here,
Mhm.
tell me, I then know how it's affected the DNA. And my STAR team has shown me how to see the DNA in the person and bring it out to whatever lifetime we're working with, and then clean and clear and activate those strands to where they can heal those areas within their physical systems to become whole again and to let go of some of the old traumas that they're dealing with. For example, it would be diabetes.
That's what I was just going to ask. Well, what kind of things were we talking about healing?
Like lung issues.
Okay.
Perhaps the ancestor had TB.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely be lung issues.
And the client has got a lot of congestion and lung problems, and they were never smokers and never been around any of that, but they were always susceptible to bronchitis every year or near pneumonia. So then following back and where did that come from? Why are they susceptible? And then I would hear from ancestors or their teams or whatever, well, this ancestor experienced this, some like maybe 21 generations ago, or they experienced it so many lifetimes ago. And then we go into their DNA and help correct these problems, and then they stay well. Simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Very sounds like it. And it sounds like it sounds like kind of a little bit like you're curing them of stuff by either what you're just being aware of what happened to them, their family line in the past. Like you're saying, TB, you're saying that like it genetically programs them to be susceptible to these things later.
Right.
Basically. So, but also are you finding this too with like the things that happened to them in the past life now carrying over, illnesses or injuries?
Yes. For instance, people that have been, say, the one that pops into my head would be those that were killed in the Hitler times from the gassing and the levels of chemical susceptibility they're living now, and trying to figure out
interesting
why they're so susceptible to certain illnesses. And then I can scan them and see where it's at in their DNA to correct that.
You wonder. I mean, it does seem like there's a lot of factors you could blame for it, but it does seem like there's so many more illnesses than what people dealt with back in the day. Yet we have so much more health care now. We have so much more available. At least we will. I don't know.
Right.
But you wonder like, what's changed, what it is. You're saying some of this could be carryover from souls that have been reborn, carrying over their
Right.
past illnesses. Like, I mean, there's got to be a lot of souls a million souls from the Holocaust. You got to wonder what that effect is on the soul as it's being reborn.
Right. And then you combine it with the emotional triggers that we have now. I think that's a huge one. The emotional traumas and triggers we have, that some are even triggered with our movies that we watch.
Ooh.
Yeah, or video games that trigger these DNA things going on in their bodies that takes them into that direction.
So, for example, a soldier who died on the battlefield picks up Call of Duty and starts playing, and it untriggers some illness in him because that was something that happened to him in the war in a past life, and now he's playing Call of Duty, and boom, something weird's happening,
Right,
or something like that. I'm not being facetious. That's the first thing my brain thinks about is like, think about all these kids playing Call of Duty and the Modern Warfare and Halo and all this stuff, but especially the historic ones. I thought about this a couple months ago playing one of these games myself. It's like, it's very historic. If somebody was reborn that played that, was in that war, and suddenly picks up a controller and starts playing it, you think it might bring back some memories.
Right, even the Civil War, something like that. Those are some pretty horrific times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The starvation and the wars even further back, even back in the European or the Celtic times. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of those with different people. It's strange, but everyone's different. So yeah. So
this is your main focus, though, is the healing. It seems like this is what you want. Your mission in life is to heal people, and so the ETs are like, just when you talk about seeing them in the room, is it really a physical? Because I know I've been friends with mediums and people who've seen stuff. It's not something they see stuff, but somebody else sitting in the room is not going to see it.
It depends on the caliber of the person I'm working on.
Gotcha. So other people have seen it with you. For
a moment. But they'll also say, go do this, or, go stand here, you hold here, you work on this while we work here. Or sometimes there's no communication. I'll just go on ahead working with what I'm doing, but yet I'll see them working in other areas of the body that I know have some horrible things that have happened too. It just helps the whole session go faster and more complete.
And do you do all your healings in person, or do you also do them because I know people that do healing over the phone? I mean, people think that's crazy, but I know there's a number of people that can do that, remotely heal people.
Most of my work is over the phone.
Oh, really?
There was a while where it was all here in my office, but most of the time now it is over the phone. It seems like people in the United States are just kind of, zombied out sometimes lately.
Not lately, a lot.
They go to their doctors, they take their meds, they go home, and they think that's all there is to help them. But people from overseas, they'll look you up online and find me and call and want to get in right away. So
where are some of the countries you seem to deal with a lot that are calling upon your assistance?
Well, there's been Croatia, India, France, Germany, Canada. Gosh, I don't know. There were some islands. I can't think what they were.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, and that they find you and get the help that they need from such a long distance is incredible.
Well, and the crazy thing is they ask me for things like, "Can you help me get pregnant?"
There's a lot of people that are struggling.
Well, and they remember having been taken on the ship and had things happen to them, so that they've got the trauma besides the uterine damage.
Oh yeah, from somebody who's been abducted that's gotten that right from them, right?
So I do get a lot of people that have that going on.
Do you think the ET presence is helping guide these people to you for help? That they're also connected to it? A lot of the people that come to you for help?
Right. I put it out there that only those that I can help come to me
Gotcha.
because I don't want to waste their money.
And so you do seem to do, I mean, like you said, you got people, women who have been abducted and had, their uterus damaged from the abduction, which, we've heard a lot of reports of this from people that are abductees. How do they find you? I mean, how do people find you to get this? Because I mean, it's a large, wide internet. And you can find a lot of different stuff when you start typing in healers and ET. I mean, how do they find you? I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
Usually through Medical Intuitive. Most of them type in Medical Intuitive in Google.
Gotcha.
Or they will go to the American Association of Healers or the Global Association of Healers, because I'm on both those sites, and the Canadian Association of Healers. So a friend of mine she created the sites, and she screens everyone on them to make sure that they're reputable people and not just scammers.
Well, yeah. When you talk about getting other people, I hate to say it, but I wondered this when you were talking about other countries trying to. I mean, like, there's a lot of scamming going on also out in these countries too. You have to protect yourself and be careful. They're not trying to scam you.
Well, I will do an interview type session with them first.
Right.
And then I don't work with them until they pay me. It has to go through the PayPal thing before I will work with them, because I have been scammed.
Yeah, I know. I definitely would think so when you're dealing with other countries like that. Now, can you give us give us an example of one of your cases of healing somebody that you think is one of the most interesting?
Wow.
I know you probably had a lot. That's a big question, but like something you think might have that might be interesting to the audience is either the cure was just so miraculous or the reveal of why the person was sick was so intriguing.
Well, one of them that just popped into my head was a guy came who was an alcoholic and a chain smoker, and his health was getting pretty bad. Plus, he was going to lose his family. So he was ready to do whatever I suggested. So I took him through a lot of the regeneration healing processes, helped him clear a lot of his childhood stuff through it, and some of the way he was treated as a child was the biggest problem. And I worked with him for almost an hour, and he went home and never had another drink and never had another cigarette.
That's incredible. As somebody who, I still use a vapor, and I'm trying to cut back on it, but I haven't had a real cigarette in 3 years. I know how hard. I think cigarettes are more addicted than any drug out there. So I know that's hard. And knowing alcoholics and how hard that struggle is, that's incredible. People might bat an eye at like, oh, well, he just quit. No, when you're an alcoholic, it's not just quitting. You quit overnight like that. I mean, some people would suspect that, he could have a relapse or whatever. Because there are those spontaneous, I quit, but just to quit, it's incredible.
He would still go hang out with all of his buddies, still at the bars or the clubs, and he still refrained.
Was there something in his, was it a past life thing that you found that was causing I'm interested when it comes to alcoholism and chain smoking, if there's a past life factor involved in that?
Oftentimes there is. His was just being so abused as a child, and the expectations of him, because he wasn't from the United States. He was from another country. He moved here. And, some of these other countries have huge expectations of the men.
Oh, yeah. Like Japan, the suicide rate's so high there because of their culture and the way the expectations of being successful,
Right. So it was tough, but he just knew this is what he was going to do, and he came here, and I asked my teams, okay, what do I do? What does this man need? And yes, I used the regeneration processes, but then I also did other healing on him, and I don't even remember what all I did.
Well, what I'm curious is, you said you knew, does he tell you everything about his past, or you intuitively find that?
I do an interview, and then I would, as they're talking, they may not tell me everything.
Right.
I can see stuff too, little glimpses of things. And then I will ask sometimes, well, did such and such happen as you were growing up, or what was your lifestyle like in the city you grew up, and how is it different from here? He was a very successful businessman, but yet this was one of the struggles, and it was really affecting his health.
Well, when you talk about sexual abuse, it's not something easy for people to talk to or admit to other people if they haven't, received any kind of help for it all their life and they've held it in. It's something hard to admit and talk about. So that's why I wondered if you were able to bring that out of him.
Yes, he told me. He didn't come out with words, but I knew.
That's what I was wondering, how much your intuition plays into this process.
A lot.
I would wonder. Yeah. Because some people might want to be healed, but they don't want to talk about the deep, dark things that happen in their past like that.
And I do keep things confidential. I keep the names confidential.
Of course.
So they know that I'm not going to give away anything about any of them.
Of course.
Right.
Now, doing this too, what I'm interested to know, what have you learned about the extraterrestrial presences? Like, who are they? What are they? Are they here? Are they interdimensional? What have you learned about extraterrestrials?
Well, the ones I mostly work with are related to healing processes.
Mm-hmm.
Those that show up in my rooms, they all have a great sense of humor. I've had a variety show up in my room to work on one person.
And we mean by variety, like a different species?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they will joke a little bit about trying to hide who they are or what they are so that they don't scare me. Like they might have a mask on and a gown sometimes, and then eventually they let me see who they are. But they're all from the Galactic Federation of Light. So, and I make sure that
tell us what that is.
The Galactic Federation of Light?
Yeah. What's the Galactic Federation of Light?
Oh, I thought everybody knew what that was.
Not me. No, I don't. I know the Galactic Federation and some sci-fi stuff, but I'm not familiar. I mean, I've heard of these things, different stuff, but I'm not familiar with what they actually are. I've heard it before. I'm not saying I haven't heard it before, but okay. you tell us, in the audience, what the Galactic Federation of Light is.
From my knowledge and my awareness of it, is that throughout our galaxy and the Andromedan galaxy working together, they know Earth has got some huge problems going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they have joined together to assist Earth. And they come from many different planetary systems. And there are many ships around us that are a part of the Galactic Federation of Light. And I don't even know how to describe it.
Is it like, I'm not trying to, I mean, I'm a big geek and a big sci-fi fan, but is it something like the Federation of Star Trek in a way?
Yeah.
Similar to that, kind of just different alien species working together. Now, in Star Trek, they have, the Prime Directive, where they're not supposed to change a society or interfere in any way. So do they have that kind of directive that's why they haven't just landed on the front lawn of the White House and said, hello, take us to your dumb leader?
Exactly. They obey the what are the rules? The rules of the galaxy. And that is, yes, we are a free planet, a free will planet. But it's also do no harm. And their rules is they cannot come down here and interfere with us because we are a free will planet. It's our choice to make these decisions or problems that we have. But the dark side also has that. They also have the rules to follow of the free will planet. But they don't. They don't listen to the do no harm. They listen to what benefits them the most. Now,
so there's other alien species vying in on this too that aren't so good.
Oh yeah, the Dracos and reptilians and
the good old reptilian
agenda, of course.
I think there's a ton of evidence for that. I think there's through history, I think there's a ton of evidence of these alien species, especially the draconian, the reptilian ones.
Yes, and they are huge on this planet, trying to take over and manage through power and control who we are and what we are. And what I have seen in one of the hypnotherapy sessions, okay, I guess I got to tell you this.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, but you got to let me advertise me too.
Oh yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Okay. One of the times that I did ask, what is my association with the ETs? And I said, am I a walk-in? Because this form of hypnotherapy I work with, this lady, it's the Dolores Cannon quantum healing techniques. And you give the person the questions you want asked first. And you talk them out and review them to make sure that they're going to ask you what you want asked and not feed you something to mess up your brain.
Okay.
So I had asked, what is my agenda with the ETs? Am I a walk-in? What am I? And I got said, you're not a walk-in, you're a spliced in. Never heard that term before. It kind of, but yet it felt right.
You're like a mixture of an alien and human soul. Is that what they're saying?
DNA.
Or just the DNA? So,
DNA.
Okay.
Your soul goes with you no matter what you are, where you are. With your own soul and spirit. It doesn't matter if you're alien or ET or Earth or what. You are, maybe you're Andromeda, maybe you're Milky Way galaxy. You've got your own soul. And they go back all over the place. Because we don't ever die that way. So what I saw was, at the point of conception, with the egg and the sperm, there was a hand holding a syringe with this milky liquid in it. And then on this other side, there was a hand holding a wafer thin, greenish, I don't know, it just looked like a wafery, stringy looking thing. And it was rectangle.
Yeah.
Okay, and at the time of conception, both of these went into the egg. And then I watched at the first cell division, all of this DNA was going through all the cells. And I was told that that is how I was created.
So you are, in a sense, you are part alien. They've put alien DNA inside of you.
A lot.
And this is why you think you have the ability to heal. It's the main component.
Oh, I don't know. I've been taught a lot. I've studied a lot. But I think that's one reason it's easy for me.
That's what I mean. It is something that's come natural to you all your life. Like you said, you worked with the animals as a child. Yeah. This is what you were built for, in a way.
And the telepathic capabilities, right? Working with all of the clairs, sentient. I work with all of them, but not all the time. I have learned how to turn them off so I don't go crazy.
For people to know too, tonight we were talking to Patricia Forbes here. You can find in the description of the show, there's a link to her website as well. So after the show tonight, Nick, make sure you go check out our website, and we'll talk about some more contact information for you too. You will do these readings for people in the United States. You just said you don't get as many requests here. Oh,
sure. Absolutely.
I want to get to your Divine Money Portal, but I still have a few more questions on the ET aspect. One of the things I wonder is, you talk about, that there's the good side and there's the dark side. Are they at battle with each other? Did they give you any insight to that? Is there a fight or a war, or is it kind of a truce?
Oh, it's a huge war. And we're in the middle of it right now. We are totally right smack in the middle of it. Now, what I was shown and been told at the time that this was all done to me, I volunteered, and they asked for volunteers, and methods of this, or portions of this, is how star seeds are created. So people that consider themselves to be star seeds have star DNA. One way is through this, and then some of it is through the inherited factor of their parents.
Right.
But the dark side has been doing this splicing in for eons. I mean, you look at certain people and you can just see that they're reptilian. You watch their eyes and watch how they blink and close, and how the pupils are different directions.
Hmm.
You look at the videos of these of many of our leaders around the planet.
Oh, there's a billion of those videos. There's a
Yes.
billion.
But the way they were created was the same way I was. And since the ETs of the Galactic Federation of Light are not allowed to come down here and pull out their weapons to handle this, we volunteered to do this.
Is it the same rules that apply to the bad guys in a way? I mean, that's why they have to make these genetic hybrids on here. Is that why? Because they're not going to be able to physically come down here and control. They have to use them to do it.
Sort of, but there are a lot of them here.
Yeah. Well, you
And
hear
those
stories about it all the time.
they've been in the tunnels. I mean, there's a story right now of how there was our soldiers were told to go into this tunnel recently.
Yes, I know. My wife is totally interested in this. Go ahead.
Okay, and they were told, just from what I remember understanding,
Mm-hmm.
they were told to go into this tunnel and ask these beings, and the soldiers had no idea who they were going to come across. They were told to ask these beings if they would abide by these rules, and if they didn't, they were to kill all of them. And they ended up killing all of them, and they were of the alien. And I don't remember if they were reptilian or draconian, but they were definitely not of this species.
Well, there's the Dulce incident. We know that. That's 1979. It's been around, talked about for many years now, and more information comes out about it. Anthony Sanchez, he a friend of Jamie's here and makes
Right.
Ghost Hunter apps. He's researched it quite a bit, and that was a battle between humans and aliens, supposedly, where it did not go very well for us or them.
This was just recent.
There's been stories. My wife is interested. She wants to find out more about in Iraq and Afghanistan of creatures and alien-like creatures,
Oh, yes.
giants even.
Yes.
That vampire giants, as I've been told. I'm not, there's some really interesting stories that's supposedly coming in Iraq. Part of me wants, there's a part of me that's like, is this just another Reddit mythology going out there, or people writing stories, or is there truth? Are these soldiers really digging, are they awakening
Vampire
something ancient?
giants?
Yeah, well, if you look back in the ancient Sumerian, Babylonian times, we're talking Iraq, for sure. Afghanistan, I don't know, but Iraq for sure. If these things have happened, that's from the beginnings of civilizations. And you talk about, the Nephilim and the giants. If you get into all that, are they awakening something there? I don't want to get off topic too much, but that's something really interesting. What soldiers have encountered.
Well, right now, with the Antarctica situation going on, I've just been listening to a whole YouTube series with Corey Good
Mhm.
and David Wilcock.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know what you're talking about.
A lot about that's going to come out through there, and they talk about we are working with at least 900 various species right now on the planet.
I read a lot of the stuff and watch the videos from David Wilcox. I'm really interested in a lot of his what he talks about, and there's something going on in Antarctica for sure. There's been a lot of stories about it. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see. He thinks there's going to be a big reveal. You believe that too?
Yes, but not yet. Right now, there's the dark ones are really being gathered and taken care of. Like with the Pizzagate thing, there's a whole lot going on there.
Oh, the whole child sex ring thing. This is something I've talked about for years. I don't want to get too off topic, but I just want to say I've talked about that for years with my friends and family. Nobody believes me. For years, I've talked about there's a secret child pornography ring with the top biggest people in politics and companies and businesses. I've said it for decades. More, you can ask my wife. I've talked about it. And now it comes out, fake news. I'm like, who's telling us these things are fake news? Because you know what? This information's been there.
It is. And there's a lot going on right now. A lot of the bankers and these dark beings are being arrested. And
Jeffrey Epstein. They arrested Jeffrey Epstein, but you know what? He still got off of a slap of the wrist.
Yeah. there's been times when I have worked with, well, that was my secret identity, is I do work with the Ashtar Command. Ashtar Command is one of the command groups that's a part of the Galactic Federation of Light.
And I've heard that. I've heard of Ashtar Command. I'll admit I've never delved so deep into knowing exactly what it is. Tell a little bit about what the Ashtar Command is.
I don't know all of it. I just know that some of the beings from the Ashtar Command have shown up and helped me in my room, and I have been on the Ashtar ship quite a bit. And I have helped work with that.
And they're the one, they're like, are they the kind of more human looking aliens?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a ufologist. I'm interested. I've always been interested since a young age, but it's just like, it's so overwhelming. And if you start going down the rabbit hole of aliens and UFOs, there's so many, and you have people coming out saying there's 72 different species flying Earth. You say there's 900. I mean, I can see why the secret's not been revealed, because nobody's going to understand it. It's more incredible than what anybody could think. Right.
Well, whenever I work with my teams, I don't ask them to identify their lineage. But sometimes the team will show up and they're all talking at once, and I just say, wait, I only need one spokesperson. And throughout the team, they are various species. And then one will be the spokesperson to communicate with me when we get the work done.
One of the things I've always wondered too, and I don't know if you have any insight to this, is if this is going on, these aliens are so interested in us, what makes us special. And one of the things I wondered is, especially if you have different souls coming in from different places in the galaxy here, and you have all these different alien species here, is like, are we some kind of truce to some older war in the galaxy? Like, did they put us as a species together as a truce? Like, they're putting different alien souls in us. Like, if we all become one species, I don't know. I've just always wondered, like, what makes us so special to them, and what's going on with the DNA? Because you talk about the reptilians. Well, the most popular one, I guess, is the Greys and abduction. Mm-hmm. What are they doing to us genetically? Are the Greys good? Are they bad? Or they're good and bad ones? Both.
Depends on which ship they're on, which group you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, they're also aligned. The ones I've noticed are really aligned with the reptilians and the draconians, and those are totally bad. And there are some good ones, but
and then the theories are the reptilian, or the Greys even a living life form, or are they mechanical?
Right. I don't know.
It's interesting. People are being abducted. In my opinion, if you're taking people in the middle of the night without their permission and doing tests on them, then you're probably not you're out for our best interest. Or maybe you are, but you're being real a-hole about it. Saying, because humans do it. We take animals and we do it. So I can see that we care for animals. We'll take out and tag them and put them back into the wilderness, so maybe that's what it is. But ultimately we don't do great with animals either.
Well, I don't think they look at how it affects us on the mental emotional level. They don't understand that part. They're just scientists doing their job.
They don't feel it. They don't understand it.
They don't understand that we feel it on that level, that it creates a trauma.
Oh, yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit, because I am going to open up the Skype lines, but while we wait for people to call in, I want to get into, what is the divine money portal? You say money, I'm interested. I'm there.
This is my sample copy. It's not out for the public yet because there's still quite a few problems. And see the Cosmic Cowgirl on the dragon. And
I love that cover.
What's that?
I said I love that cover.
Oh, me too. I had to have an artist draw my dragon for me.
That's good, artist.
What happened was, a little over a year ago, I got asked to just create some journeys for people around money. And I would do them 11 days per month. And I only did charge $11. So every day I would channel, well, it's not really channel, I don't know what you call it. I just asked for my team to tell me what to type. And I would type up. And they're like journeys, shamanic journeys. And everyone gets an avatar of sorts. Like I have my bluish purple dragon, and everybody can take whatever they want. And we would go through a specific portal per month. And we based the whole year series, because there's 12 months in the book. We based the whole series around money. Well, everybody thinks abundance, and of course you're still going to think money.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens is, I just found one of my papers here. And what it is throughout the entire journeys, it's like what we're doing is clearing old programs, which in turn clears old DNA patterns to allow you to vibrate at a more cleaner, pure level, which creates a stronger vibration within you to hold what you're wanting to do.
It's like the laws of attraction.
Yes, sort of. But it's easy because I make it fun. So you ride your avatar through the portal and we experience different things.
Is this like a guided meditation?
They are guided. Totally guided through these journeys.
Okay.
And they will bring up weird emotions in a person. Say you're going over a waterfall that you can't see the bottom of. And water was a big one for me because I don't like water.
Me neither. I've always had a fear of drowning. Fear of snakes and fear of drowning, my biggest fears.
Oh, yes. So there's different waterfalls, there's rainbows, there's mining experiences. One of them, we go through the pyramids and start clearing old things that are held in the bottom of the pyramids, the energies of slavery, of, oh gosh, I can't remember all of them now.
Is it kind of like you're with the pyramids? Is that a past life thing you're talking when they're going?
It's more of the past energies that are held in that location or on the planet, and what your connection is with those traumas or whatever it was that happened. What I found.
Oh, we lost you there.
At times, or scary or uncomfortable at first. And what I do is after each day, I tell people take time to recalibrate. And if you don't, if you just go through it real fast, sometimes you can not feel well or have a bit of a healing crisis. And that's been my biggest problem with getting my book published, is that having editors go through it, they go through so much all at once, and then they get sick or they just want to sleep because they're trying to clear too much at once. So at the end
because they're reading the book, it's like affecting them?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. The book is encoded with this job to be done to people on the planet, to help people on the planet resonate with abundance without fear. It's clearing a lot of fear.
So
anxiety.
This is a book people should read slowly.
Yes, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
And you take some time off, like maybe 2 weeks. That's why they were done 11 days. And then the rest of the month, you recalibrate. You give yourself time to recalibrate. And then it would be another month's worth. And we went through the whole year that way. My most fun one was with the Vikings and the pirates. I think that was November. And the journeys with the Vikings and pirates, I thought was just fun. One time,
go ahead. Sorry.
One time on one of the ships, we're going along and there's whales swimming in the air with the ships, and they're singing, and it was just so incredible how you can feel it changing the vibration within your own systems. So it's a 12-month journey, and they're shamanic journeys, and it's called the Divine Money Portal Activation. It still shows up on Amazon, and it's under Patricia Vance Forbes. It will be in the book form. It will be also in the tablet form that you can download. And we're also working on it with audio.
And as soon as you have later on all the, the links, once the book's, out,
Yes.
just let me know. Give me the links. I will share them on all my pages for
Thank
people.
you.
And I'll, post the show link again with it so they'll know what I'm talking about and for people that watch the show. So that, I'm looking forward to when that comes out because it sounds interesting. So is it, so when you're reading it, it's in a way, it's giving you a guided meditation by reading it. It's taking you through these journeys one step at a time.
It triggers your physical aspect, your mental emotional aspect, tactical aspects, the colors that work within your body. Let me see if I have a little bit on this one here. One of them that came out in one of my blogs today, it starts out with, today we're going to mount up on our wonderful avatars, mine of course being my iridescent purple dragon. We will line up side by side in this portal where we will all move ahead at an equal pace for the moment. Let's start by walking or flying slowly forward down into the depths of this swirling energy. The first thing we come to is a huge, complete, portal-sized rainbow waterfall. It has come to the attention of our guides that you need a boost in that it will make clearing easier, gentler, and more thorough for you to reach the next level. Allow yourself to feel the new colors flowing into each cell and in the spaces between each cell with the new. Let the liquids in your body also take in the rainbow of newness. Breathe in this rainbow of colored energy. Let it permeate every single bit of you. Give yourself a moment to integrate this. Now we are ready to move to the next level of the Divine Money Portal. Put your backpack on and mount your avatar. So every one of these days consists of 800 to 1,000 words or more.
And they're each day you're taking a guided meditation into an aspect of your DNA, your soul, in a way of repairing it is what I'm getting from this, right? I have a caller on the line. Sorry, we're going to take the call here. This is Zachary. How you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good. Jason, hey, Jamie, hey, Rob, how you doing?
Thanks for calling in. You have a question here for Patricia?
Yes, sir, I do. Hi, Patricia. It's very nice to meet you. I do have a question, though. You said that you do get a lot of extraterrestrials and some spirit guides that do come in. My question is, do they use like the same channels or routes really when they're coming in to communicate with you? And if they're different, like what are those channels like?
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Zach has great questions.
Yeah. I usually just ask for the team to show up that is of benevolence of highest level and those that are capable to help with the situation that I need help with the client. Now, were you referring to clients or are you referring to my own stuff?
I guess it's a little mixed, I guess. Okay. Just from your own previous experiences.
Well, I have had one time, I was sitting at my table in the kitchen, just doing paperwork, and I felt a presence in the room, and I looked up, and there were 7 beings. They weren't in full form, but they just appeared in my living room. So I don't know how you would define that as a channel, except just showing up.
And they're physically, you see them physically in front of you, like they just pop. That wouldn't you? Are you never scared of it?
No.
Okay.
I just said hi, and is there a purpose for you being here? And 4 of them introduced themselves to me, and they were all different shapes and sizes, and 3 of them did not. And they said that they were from the Andromedan galaxy, and they downloaded some different information within me at the time. And I heard that this year we're going to be reconnecting again, because this happened several years ago. My life got kind of crazy, so I kind of pushed everybody away.
No, I can understand. Zach, you have another question?
Yeah, I know you were talking about the Galactic Federation of Light, as well as this negative group that it tends to be controlled by these reptilian entities. I certainly do believe in those kind of creatures that exist, and I also do believe that many people in power have reptilian-like personalities. But anyway, why do many of these entities, why do they hate humanity so much? Where does it really originate from? Do you think it maybe goes back to like the concept of when God kicked Lucifer and his followers out of heaven? Is it somewhere related along that lines, or where do you feel like this hatred stems from?
Well, the Galactic Federation of Light beings don't. They're doing their best to preserve us and help us with that, and help us to not blow up the planet. The other guys want power and control. They have no, I don't think, this is my opinion, I don't feel like they have any respect at all for humans. I feel like they, the only thing that we're good for is like slave material.
We're cattle.
Cattle. Yeah, we do the job that they want us to do for them. And they harvest energy from us. I don't know.
Well, they say the reptilians and draconians feed off of human fear.
Yeah.
They love human fear.
Right, I've heard that.
From
so basically it's almost like I guess it's almost like not really a hatred, it's just more of an opportunity that they really take advantage of.
Right, they want planet Earth to be theirs.
Okay, and my last question is, you've talked about you growing up near, I guess it's like a nuclear plant, I believe, from what I heard earlier.
Right.
I live out in the Phoenix area, and my father used to work at not a nuclear plant, but it was an electrical plant. It was about 50 miles west of Phoenix, and it's in a small town called Tonopah, and it's literally desert anywhere you go. They have nuclear plants, they have electrical plants out there. Why are many ETs very obsessed with being around like power sources like that? Because I know out in Tonopah, I've heard different stories about people seeing different lights up in the sky and everything else.
A lot of ufologists believe that too.
Well, actually, I didn't grow up around a nuclear plant. I was in the San Luis Valley. You know where Alamosa is? I was just south of Alamosa.
You were downwind from it.
But, well, upwind.
Upwind, okay, upwind.
From Los Alamos.
Okay.
Because it was probably a couple hundred miles from Los Alamos and up and over the mountains was how the air currents were. But why do they tend to hang out around that? I really don't know. Some of it I think they're monitoring to make sure we don't destroy ourselves. The good guys don't want the planet destroyed or blown up. There are some ships I have heard that utilize some of our electric power, but I don't know if those are really ET ships. I think some of those are government ships.
To answer your question,
okay,
Zach.
all right. Yeah, that didn't answer my question. And I do apologize. I originally had 3 questions, but I guess this leads into my last question.
No problem.
My question then leads to like incidents like what happened in Fukushima and Chernobyl. My question is, and I'm not trying to be negative on that, but why would the like Galactic Federation of Light and all these positive entities, why would they allow like an event like that to happen? Is it more of a teaching tool for us, or what would it? In your opinion, what would it be?
Well, I think that is when they started paying attention to us. Before that, they would just check on us once in a while, and just monitoring once in a while as to how Earth was doing. But once that radiation went out from our planet and it showed up as that frequency going out, it was like a distress call, and they started paying attention and coming in to see what's going on so that we don't destroy everything else.
Well, the history shows, I mean, for the UFO wave that hit America, it happened after we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima.
Right.
It seemed that's when UFOs really came into the modern presence of what they are as the nuclear age. And
Right.
that might be why we piqued their interest, because we're dropping bombs that are nuclear.
Right. Well, and right now, from what I've been told, is that most all of the nuclear warheads have been dismantled. That that we will not have a nuclear war.
That makes me wonder, because you hear the stories of, documented stories. I mean, the military knows it's public knowledge now. Enough have come out to speak about it that we're in the military, have seen these ships come down and shut down the nuclear weapons, deactivate them, make them useless. There's also a story in Russia of the aliens also making their nukes go active and turn them on. That happened in Russia. So you wonder if that was the bad guys doing that one.
I hadn't heard that.
Yes, there is. It's around the same time period. We're talking if I believe for the Russians and their nukes being turned on, it might have been the 60s too. I know it was the 60s, I believe, for them turning our nukes off. Is all around the same time period. And they definitely a lot of UFO activity around nuclear bases. All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Zach.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for allowing me to call in. Patricia, thank you so much for answering my questions. I greatly appreciate it.
You bet.
Have a great night.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Good night, man.
Bye, Jamie.
From my opinion, the nuclear activity that's being turned off now is more recent, within the past 5 to 10 years.
They just shut down all the nukes and the governments are keeping it secret. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That would be great.
That's really why North Korea has not been able to do what they've been wanting to do either.
I hope that's true. That would be great. If the aliens could do anything, shut down everybody's nukes, that would be awesome.
And the damage that was done to that plant over there at Japan,
the Fukushima,
that would have destroyed all of us had we not have help from our ET buddies.
You wonder if they are watching us.
A lot of that up.
Really, I mean, because it should. Everything it says, it should be really bad. Things could be really bad for us in the future too, because of what it's doing. And you wonder, when's the hammer going to drop from Fukushima? When are we going to really pay the price for what happened there? And maybe you're saying the aliens have done things to prevent that, to help us.
They've done things to help minimize it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to completely clear it up, not yet, because they want us to learn a lesson, to not do that anymore, that we need to change our type of technology that we're using. And if they cleaned it up, it would just happen again.
Right. If they just made I guess we can dump as much nuclear radiation as we want in the ocean. Nothing happened. Yay. Yeah, went away. So we are going to suffer some for it. You're saying they're going to make us suffer a little bit.
We have to be aware and know that this is happening and the damage it can do. Like some of the fish that show up with all that damage on them and the tumors that are being created on them. But
the radioactive boars, it's something I didn't put in the World Wide Web of Weird, but almost did, is that they talked about in Japan, they have radioactive boars that they have to clean out of towns because they're going to make people sick. The boars are still living, but they're radioactive. They're going to kill you just by being around you. Right. And the radioactive boars, I don't know how cool that can sound, much more cooler than that, but as bad as it is, I'm like thinking video game stuff here, but radioactive boars on the right. But, but it is bad. I've been worrying about it ever since it's happened. I'm paranoid. I'm a fear and loathing kind of guy. And I'm like, when are the radioactive boars going to make it over to America? But
I don't live on California area.
Oh, Jamie.
Ocean blowing it all up on you.
Yeah, that's not good. You wonder, if how much are they? It's like they're not allowed to intervene. There's I'm a geek, yes. The last Star Trek, or not the last Star Trek movie, the Star Trek movie before the last one, Into the Darkness. Kirk gets in trouble because they save a civilization from a volcano that's going to explode, and like, oh, you violated the Prime Directive. You wonder. Where the leniency is. We do have another caller on the line. She's on the video line. We got Laura Lee on the line. How you doing tonight, Laura Lee? He's getting unmuted, I think, here.
I'm pretty good. Thank you.
Doing great. What are you wearing tonight? I know that's a funny question.
No, Jason, I have to tell you, I swear to God, whatever they are is at my house, this was the 12th attempt So this was not what I was planning. I had big plans, but anyways,
It's
I
awesome.
don't know. Well, it's not what I wanted. It was supposed to glow in the dark and have all kinds of things. This is just a prototype. Sorry, my son's down here just saying, Justin.
It looks
so anyway,
awesome.
guys, I don't know if you can see it or not. I keep moving and it's not doing what I
like
want
the
it to.
screen,
Anyways,
honey.
of anybody that wants to purchase a show to support Jason's show, I'm going to start making T-shirts in collaboration, hopefully with Jason.
Hey, move over to your left, a little bit to your left, so people can see it.
Yeah, it's not working better. No, this way.
Nope, the other way then. The other way.
The other left.
It's not working. I don't know why. I never have this problem.
Well, I'll have pictures for people. I'm going to post them on Facebook so that people can see what the picture looks like. But there it is.
Go for pictures in 2 seconds. There, I'm looking in the bottom. I can see what I'm doing. If you guys want to order them, they're all custom made. They'll all be different, whatever you want on them, including something on the back. But anyways, sorry about that, Patricia. I just wanted to call in quickly. Very interesting things you talked about tonight. And I have a question for you. We've been told before by Katrina, who's in the chat room, and I trust her implicitly.
For people to know, it's Katrina Cooper, who is a medium and a friend of the show.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, she did a private reading for me, and we've had a serious, very difficult problem. We had thought it was a demon in the house, but Katrina sort of said that she thought that maybe it's alien in nature. And I just was wondering, have you ever seen aliens that inhabit a house? Like, this has been going on for 8+ years. We've been thrown into walls. I mean, there's been all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And at first I wasn't sure about this, but I did some research, and I just love to hear what your perspective is on this.
Well, I'm not exactly in that mindset, to be doing a full reading on it. But offhand, I had not heard of
history of hearing anything like this before.
Okay, I have heard this, yes. But I've not heard of them in relation to...
Okay.
I've heard of them being in relation to demonic beings or beings that have not crossed over properly. What did she say?
Okay. Pardon?
Like Katrina, she's asked what Katrina said. Katrina, if I remember, you've told me, Laura Lee, she felt it was something more alien-like, an alien-like entity in her home, the way it was. It wasn't like completely human or demonic even. The land, she says. She's saying in the chat room, the land, not the house even. She's saying it's the land that's that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you want...
She had mentioned she found some crystal that had been buried here that like tens of thousands of years ago, back to the time of the Egyptians almost.
Uh-huh.
So I just wondered if you had heard of that before, that's all.
I hadn't. But it's very interesting. I'd like to know more later.
Well, I won't keep you on the phone. Tell me more. Thanks, you guys, for having me call in, and in case anybody else wants to call in. And thank you so much for being here. Very interesting, Patricia. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for calling in, Laura Lee, and thank you for working on the shirts. We'll talk more, and we'll let the audience know. We might have a giveaway for people on the show, future shows with a shirt, hopefully.
Absolutely. Of their choice, I'll do it for them. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You too, Laura Lee.
Thanks.
What is your we mentioned the demonic, how does demonic and dark forces tie into all the other alien presences on this earth? Is there a connection between the two?
I don't know. I had not tried to connect them before, but as I'm listening and I'm kind of scanning, I don't know. But like maybe souls that didn't cross over, that
just gone dark side.
Yeah, because there were so many wars on the planet before us, so I don't know. I have to really think about that.
But you got to think too. There's alien souls, or souls. Our souls are all souls, but souls that come from different planets. There could be things that have never been born here, but they're here. These entities, they're on this planet in a different shape or form, but they're not human, that they're interacting with us. I had my own weird experience with a shadow person that I still don't like to classify as demonic, and I feel more was alien-like the way that I just felt about it. So you wonder what those presences are, if they're not, besides, physical aliens that people are seeing, but there's also this interdimensional aliens or aliens from another dimension interfering with us.
Right. Well, I did see a being come across the field one time that was pretty tall, wearing a black cape and black hat.
Oh, that's the shadow man. That's the shadow man. I'm telling you, I've experienced it, and lots of people have.
Well, he spooked the horse I was on so bad that I ended up with a double malleolus shatter and 7 surgeries on an ankle and fractured spine.
So it harmed you in a way. I mean, by doing that.
Well, I think it was an attack. Yes.
Yeah.
I spooked the horse for that reason.
Well, I was attacked. I was levitated off my bed and thrown down. This thing physically could levitate and touch me. The last encounter I had with it. And so that's why, I've read cases about demonic activity, and it can do stuff like that. But it just, my story didn't always totally fit or feel like it fit with like a lot of the demonic cases I've read with. And I've always felt it was something alien-like. And it was like they had the hat, like a fedora hat kind of deal, and it was very tall. And when people say cape, and I've heard that it did have that kind of a mass to it, like it could have a cape or something. And it was the most. It is I've had a lot of paranormal weird experiences in my life, but it is the most terrifying one I've had and the most incredible. And always felt that somehow it was alien-like, or it's not just your typical demonic. Not demonic's typical, but it's not that. It's something else. That's how I've always felt about it.
Yeah, it's not a typical being that it didn't cross over. It's totally a different being.
Right. It was never a human of any kind.
Exactly. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's what I experienced.
Yeah, and it sounds like it hurt you really, really bad doing it.
Well, it did, and I think it's because I know I went out of my body to deal with it to protect my daughter, because my daughter was on the horse behind me.
Ooh.
When the horse started bucking, she went off first, but she's a gymnast and knows how to land. I didn't know how to land, and I don't remember even going out of my body. I didn't even remember how I got off the horse. But I have memories of dealing with this being on another level.
Really? I'm interested to hear that, because there's so much unanswered to me.
They're just glimpses of little, like, arguing and making a deal, like, to not harm my family. And while I was going through my healing process for several years, my business pretty much tanked. And I think part of it was part of the deal I made with that being to stop progressing in my work for a while.
They are deal makers. That was kind of my experience with this thing, is it was torturing me to force me into a deal.
Yeah. So in order to leave my family alone, I kind of made that deal that I will back off on my work for a while. And it took about 2.5 years with all the surgeries I had to do.
So you think it was sent to stop you?
Yes.
That's really interesting. I don't know what this one came after me for, or I just happened upon it. I'm not going to get into the whole story of that. Right. But I wonder, not to think that I'm anything special, but I am somebody who's a little more awake than everyday person when it comes to the paranormal, and have been since I was a kid. You wonder if these things go after certain people that are, that are more aware.
I think so. They may see that you shine a certain level of brightness, and they want you to stop. They'll take you down to another level of frequency so you don't shine as bright.
Now, have you, doing this work, have you come across a patient who, you got to think there's certain people out there that might have like the reptilian DNA that don't know it yet?
Well, they haven't come to me.
No. Do you think they all know it?
Maybe. I see it like at a grocery store or at a event, I can tell it just from how they they vibrate, their movements.
You know, you talk about running to people in the public. I'm going to tell you a story, and I think I've said this one on the show before, but I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. I work retail, and it was as many years ago as I'm a third key manager at a store, a suit store, and this customer came in, and I stopped in my tracks when I looked at him. His skin looked really, really pale and white and cracked in places. He was wearing normal clothes, but his eyes were glowing purple. Okay. I'm sober at work. Trust me. I didn't do drugs. I wasn't drunk. I'm at work. And I turned to one of my other coworkers. I go, does anything look unusual with that guy there? Because I've accepted in my life, there are things I've seen that other people haven't. Mm-hmm. And this was so crazy. I'm like, what is going on? Am I having an aneurysm? And my coworker goes, no, not at all. And this guy was in there with like a wife and I think a kid, you know, a teenager or something. And they looked normal, but he didn't. His eyes were glowing purple, people. His face was like, he was like a dead man walking with glowing purple eyes. Wow. And I just stood there in awe the whole time he was shopping in the store, and they walked out and left. Nothing else extraordinary about him, just that I saw that. This one of those weird things in my life I can't explain. I don't know why I saw that or what it was. I thought I lost my mind for a moment, and I just kept on looking at him. You know, luckily he never turned to see me like staring at him, but I couldn't get over it, and I was freaked out. I mean, freaked out, and I had to hold it in because obviously when my coworker said, well, I don't see anything weird about him, I'm like, okay, I'm the only one seeing this. Oh, great. Great. What do I do? I'm just going to stand here and look dumbfounded. And what was that? Do you have any idea what that could have been?
I don't know, but the term that came up would be something like a skinwalker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about skinwalkers, but that was the term that came in.
Wow. I don't know a lot. I've heard the term skinwalker. I know from like, you know, skinwalkers, like a shapeshifter you're talking.
I don't know much about them.
Okay. Well, I'll look that up because that is one of the weirdest experiences. I felt like he was an alien, and somehow I was, like what's his name in They Live, you know, they can see the aliens and nobody else can't. That's what it felt like whenever I watched They Live, Roddy Piper,
right?
And he sees the aliens, you know, I come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of bubblegum. That's what I feel like in that one instance of my life. I see this guy walk in and nobody else can see it. That's why They Live became one of my favorite movies because of that experience.
Wow. Well,
Uh-oh, we lost her. Hopefully, there she is back. Okay.
People, I became a massage therapist because that's a good way for licensing and, you know, insurance programs. And it's a good way to start my intuitive processes working. And I did have a client whose skin was like scales.
Okay.
It was very pale. Lotion would not penetrate. It was the strangest thing. And she worked for a chiropractor I knew. And I didn't know much about her until later. I knew she tried to take my chiropractor down. She actually played games of getting involved with the chiropractor and getting on her will, and got the chiropractor committed to an institution and losing her license.
Holy moly. So this was a bad person and she had scales. So is that you think she is one of the reptilians, like, or, you know, part of that because of the scales?
She had a lot of that DNA and that tendency to go that direction with her life.
So people, real quick too, I saw something in the chat room. Yes, I forgot to mention that Paranormal Soup logo you saw on the t-shirt Laura Lee had. That is a logo that Bill Perry designed. We've mentioned it on the show before. Thank you, Bill. I just wanted to make sure people knew that he did design that logo, that graphic. Laura Lee just wants to try to make some t-shirts out of it. So everybody knows that it is one of the coolest logos I could ever ask for too.
It's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I saw that in the chat room and I wanted to make sure I clarify that. I'm sorry, Bill. I forgot to clarify that earlier.
Oh yeah.
There was another question in the chat room earlier. My friend Keith asked. He wanted to know what your opinion, like on God, would be in all this.
That's a great question.
For me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where does God fall in all this?
Okay. Well, they kind of look at us a little bit silly with all of our various religions. But yes, they do believe there is an original creator and of the benevolence of this creative abilities. But the way we are here, we've kind of gotten messed up. One of the things on my website talks about a number of years ago, I had this download, and it felt like God was telling me, Pat, you have to teach this class. And it was like, no, I'm not ever going to teach that class. And I was shown how the Catholic Church had aligned with the reptilian agenda, who was controlling the government at that time. This is like eons and eons ago. And there was a cross that they created that had like all these tentacles coming out of every direction in the top. And I wasn't raised with crosses. I don't know much about crosses. But what I saw them do is they created this orb of energy, and in it was all this stuff about victimized and control and power and never good enough, and a lot of other numbers related to this. And it was like an orb of energy that was alive, and they put it at the base of this cross. It went up and into all the branches, and when they would bless the property or the people or the sacrament, it changed DNA coding. The first time I saw it was when they used it to bless some bread, and they put it on a person's tongue, and the person's blood turned black. And to me, sometimes when you see things, it's all symbolic, but it was like, this changes the DNA for that person to never really advance their DNA up the line that they could. And so anyway, I was freaked out about it, but I finally said, okay, I'll teach the class. And they said, do it in January. And then it was like, I was so afraid to teach this because, if the Catholic Church knows that I know this, I thought I could get killed. So finally, I did teach it in February. And one of the people that came to my class, when they saw me drawing this cross on my whiteboard, they said, my grandmother has one of those on her wall. And I thought, wow, that is perfect verification for what I was seeing. But also, I told God, well, if you're going to show me this kind of stuff, you better show me how to clear it from people and how to help them. And I did get shown how to do that, and I did teach it in the workshop that I had. So, and I thought that was very interesting. I had an interview from another radio person that I knew, and I said, do not talk to me about this. I don't want people to know this. Well, he kind of slipped it in toward the end when I was relaxed and forgot about the mics.
Oh, no.
And so I started talking about it. Well, a couple of weeks later, I get a call from a lady from Poland. And she says, you have to clear this from me before I die. I'm in my 80s, and I know what you're saying is true. So I did the work with her, and she died about a week and a half later. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
Anyway, I do get a lot of that with people that come in, or that I have to work with, that I do see that this ancestry aspect of how the Catholic Church did back then is still being carried forward into the DNA of now. And I'm sure people nowadays have no clue. I bet the priests don't even know. But it's in the DNA. And you look around and look at the power and control and victimize people. People can have a full, huge degree on their resume, and they're still on the streets. Or they can't do any more than flip burgers somewhere.
Oh, my wife's got 2 bachelor's degrees, and she's a waitress.
Okay. And I can guarantee you, this is related to that curse of keeping a person from activating their ability to receive and make more abundance. They don't feel like they're good enough. Go ahead.
Where can a person start to, what are some things people can do to kind of activate this, this within themselves, this kind of healing process?
You call me.
Call you?
Make an appointment. Yeah. because no one else out there knows how to do this except for the few people I taught. And I think they're too afraid to do it.
Well, I mean, there's a reason. I mean, if you had the Hat Man, the shadow entity show up because you were doing it and injure you severely, there is a danger then, obviously there could be.
Right. But to me, it's, this is what needs to be cleared on the planet. It's this level of curses and spells and possession that has brought us to where we are right now.
Just a continuing negativity, or it's just a karmic thing?
It's a victimized frequency that people cannot rise above.
So we got 5 minutes left. What are some ways people can get a hold of you to get your help?
Okay. You can go to my website, alchemyuniversaltherapies.com.
You can find that in the description of the show too, people. That's linked there.
Okay. And my phone number would be 970-566-2402. Or my email is pat4bs@msn.com. And that's a number 4. It's pat number 4, letter bs@msn.com. Also, if you go to the website and click on the link that I think you're supposed to get a piece of the money portal activations, but if you click on this link and sign in, and then you'll get newsletters. I don't send them out very often, but you'll get a newsletter once in a while, and that's another way to contact me.
Okay. And they just can set up an appointment with you?
Oh, sure. And the best way is friend me on Facebook.
Facebook?
Yep, at Patricia Vance Forbes.
And if anybody's friends with me that's watching the show, I do have her on my friends list, so you should be able to find her there as well. Thank you so much tonight for joining us, telling us this information. Like I said, when the book does get released, let me know. I will make sure to share the links on my different pages on Facebook.
Okay.
And I could probably add it to the description of the show later on too. So it's in there, a link to it as well. So when people watch the show in the future, a rerun of it, whatever, they can find the link. So be sure to do that. Thank you so much, Patricia, for coming on.
Thank you. I really enjoyed visiting with all of you.
And thanks everybody in the chat room tonight for watching. Thank you, Jamie and Bill and Jeff for being here, and Rob. Bill's been in the chat room, but thank you, Bill, for being there. And thank you for the logo too, Bill. I wanted to point it out because I didn't want people to think Laura Lee didn't design the logo. That was Bill that designed it, but she's working on the t-shirts, which we might give away as for callers into the show. You could win a t-shirt is what we're looking at. And she can design it for however you want it to look like. And she can add stuff. She's been working hard at doing it. It looks great, Laura Lee. Thank you. And hook up with Bill too, because he can get you, like you said, original copy of the thing, because mine is probably a copy of a copy that I gave you. I didn't think about that. See, Bill's smart like that. I'm not. All right, guys. Next week we got Paranormal Soup, same bad time, same bad channel. We're going to have on. That's going to be the 19th. We're going to have Douglas Robinson to talk about real life vampires. I've always had an interest as a kid in vampires. One of my favorite novelists is Anne Rice, and The Interview of the Vampires are my top 10 favorite books of all time. So I've always had a little fascination with vampires, and he's going to talk about the people who in life who believe they're vampires. And he's written stories about this and interviewed these guys. We're going to talk about that. I cannot wait. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And be looking for us on Facebook. We're going to start streaming to Facebook on some of these episodes. So that'll be coming up. April 2nd will be our Facebook live show. All right, guys, have a great night. See you next week.
I travel to the edge and west. Said no more one is left. lost when time stood still. My past so wrong their will. Never found my fill. Approached the ancient hill. Walked up on the path. Saw a peak at last. Worn and weary, saw so clearly I had come the I have just one request. I'd like to get the rest. I've traveled to the edge and distance. I echo for what was left. My consciousness expands through space and time at last. I see my soul depart. I found my last regret.
To mention two guys. Come March 28th, Tuesday night, I am going to be a guest on the Anything But Ordinary Spooky and Raven show. Go check it out on YouTube. It's one of my favorite YouTube shows to watch. I usually get Tuesdays off so I can watch it. It's a great show, Spooky and Raven. Check it out. And like I said, on the 28th, we're going to play some EVPs. I'm going to tell some of my ghost stories, stuff that's the weirdness that's gone through my life. I'm going to discuss on that show. You've heard tidbits of it on the show, but I'm going to be the interviewee, or I'm going to be the one being interviewed. So check it out. It'll be March 28th. Check me on Anything But Ordinary, Spooky and Raven on YouTube. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel with Douglas Robinson. We're going to talk about vampires. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please share the show if you can. Thank you for everybody who has shared the show. And look for us. April 2nd is going to be our first Smile Time Facebook live stream. We're going to do an open lines night. You can call in the show. We're going to talk about a lot of weirdness that night. We'll have a long run of the World Wide Web Weird through the whole show. And maybe we'll have a special guest with us to join. I thought about a couple people to ask. Maybe you might want to come on to Smile Time and Facebook live stream with us. All right, guys, have a great night. See you next week.